I'm very grateful today to welcome our next eminent guest, Sofia Stril Rever, whose skills are beyond expression. She is a spiritual teacher and a writer who promotes inner healing, peace, and universal responsibility. She has authored three books with Dalai Lama, including his memoir, My Spiritual Autobiography, in 2009. She is a graduate of Indian Studies from the University of Paris. She traveled to the United States, then to India, where she studied Kala Chakra with Tibetan masters. She received teachings from an Indian Pandit at the Central University of Tibetan Studies in Sarnath and from Tibetan Lama at Kirti Monastery in Dharamshala. In 2016, she co-wrote with Vakya Rinpoche The Meditation Saved Me, story of healing from gangrene of the foot through meditation and mantras. A specialist in mantra therapy, she gives recitals of sacred mantras. In 2017, she published Make the Revolution, the Dalai Lama's appeal to youth, translated into English under the title A Call for Revolution. A Vision for the Future, a manifesto by Dalai Lama on the future of the world. A call to put in place solutions for our chaotic and divided times. She is co-founder of Better We, Better World and initiated Be the Love You Want to See in the World. It echoes Mahatma Gandhi's Be the Change You Want to See in the World. She lectured at the United Nations in Geneva on universal responsibility in November 2017 and February 2020. So please welcome Sofia Stril Rever from France so that she can share her views on the topic.
Humbled to join you in this online event. I live in Paris, France, but these days I am staying with family in Lausanne, so I'm talking to you from Lausanne. And I want to thank Dr. Vikranchi for kindly inviting me in person from the holy city of Ujjain, a place blessed by many holy sages from Bharat. My soul has a special bond with India, and I can't forget the seminal moments in Varanasi when I listened to a priest chanting the Vedas on the Dasashwamedha Ghat. It was the first time I heard live Sanskrit language, and it sounded to me as the blissful mother tongue of my soul. I was so enthralled that upon coming back to Paris, I registered at Paris Free University and graduated later on in Indian Studies. This embarked me on a spiritual journey which has been very closely tied to India. Actually, before reaching Varanasi, I had traveled to Dharamsala, and there, quite unexpectedly, I met His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who hugged me on his heart on the edge of a Himalayan forest. My Indian studies then led me to translate the second chapter of the Vimala Prabha, a commentary to the Kalachakra Tantra, that had been translated from Sanskrit into Tibetan and Mongolian languages only. So in 2000, my French translation was the first translation published in a Western language. And in order to carry it out, I studied with a pandit at the Tibetan University of Sarnath and at Kirti Monastery in Dharamsala. And since the Kalachakra is a foremost teaching and empowerment given by the Dalai Lama, he kindly wrote the foreword to my translation. I also developed an interest in the Dalai Lama's vision for the world, and the four books I co-authored with him deal with the importance of realizing both the oneness of humanity and a sense of universal responsibility. It's on this topic that in September 2016 at the Paris Bar, I organized a conference, Universal Responsibility, Law and Environment, with His Holiness and 350 international lawyers and environmental experts. Then in 2018 and 2019, I convened the Better We, Better World seminar in Dharamsala around His Holiness and Professor Samdong Rinpoche. So the United Consciousness Initiative resonates very much with my life commitments, and my latest book released in October, L'urgence d'aimer in French, or Time for Love is Now. Time for Love is Now points a hidden emergency. When I tell you emergency, what comes to your mind? Danger, life risk, accidents, explosion, terror attack, humanitarian emergency, medical, social, environmental emergencies. What if all emergencies in the world today were but the symptoms of another emergency? The urgency of loving before crises erupt in order to eradicate the structural causes of extreme poverty, hunger, lack of hygiene, and the predation of natural resources at the origin of disasters that are multiplying on the planet. If the urgency to love prevailed, it would treat the evil at the roots. It would, if we revived in our heart the breath of life and love, this energy, multiplied 7.8 billion times, would generate a force of soul paving the way for happier days. I have no doubt about that. The urgency to love was born in me from a painful awareness. The scale of the widespread devastation caused by human violence, or humanity is being torn by war against itself and against life. In 2020, how to find a path to justice, peace, and sustainability. The UN has been addressing this question since its mission is to implement peace, human rights, and justice for all. 3 months before the Paris Agreement in September 2015, the 193 member states signed a preliminary document, the 2030 Agenda, which for the first time in history set a roadmap for change, aiming at the 17 Sustainable Development Goals known as the 17 SDGs. When I discussed it with the Dalai Lama, he expressed his full support to this program of environment protection, prosperity, health, and education for all. It makes a lot of sense that the messages from the UN General Secretary and His Holiness the Dalai Lama are now merging, as evidenced by their recent statements on the oneness of humanity and universal responsibility. However, international experts are noticing setbacks on all fronts because state commitments don't translate into action. Solutions exist, they have been validated, but they are not implemented. Pressure from financial groups and lobbies and politicians don't fully account for the lack of decisions, resulting in the lack of action. Because the problem is not only political, nor economic, nor ideological. It includes strong cognitive hindrances. We need to we need to shift our thinking patterns, moving from pathological individualism to altruism in the service of the common good. Nothing should be undertaken these days, including debating ideas as we are presently doing, without the intention to benefit humanity through a deeper understanding leading to disruptive actions. The challenge I am taking on in the book Time for Love is now and in my different commitments is to expose how awareness born from meditation can trigger a momentum of our collective consciousness towards what I call an eco civilization of love. All our power as humans lies in our regenerative interactions in the service of the living. This power of creating bonds has a name. It's love. Human DNA is 98% identical to chimpanzee DNA. And according to neuroscientists, the 2% difference is mainly about the human brain's capacity to relate to others. More than learning how to use tools or moving in the forest and the grasslands, anthropologists have found convincing evidence that it was learning how to love and live with each other that drove human cognitive developments. And the new cognitive step in the 3.5 billion years of life evolution that we need to take urgently now should come, according to me, from a merging of meditation and action infused by love. I call this synergy Medit Action, and I created the Be the Love protocol inspired by the ancient tradition of Ati Yoga, Dzogchen in Tibetan, combined with contemporary studies in neuroscience, neurocardiology, and deep ecology. There are three pillars of the Be the Love meditations. They are view, meditation, and action. As in Hatha Yoga, where view is the awareness of our primordial loving kindness, hidden under the disguise of violence and hatred. Meditation here means removing the veils, which are our conditionings, to be able to contemplate our primordial goodness radiating wisdom and love. As for action, it consists in implementing the love we are in all life situations. Hatha Yoga masters of the past promise that simply by turning our mind towards such view, meditation, and action, we know how to transform all life's difficulties into the path. Transforming oneself to transform the world is no utopia. It's a pragmatic bias. I was wondering what Mahatma Gandhi meant when he said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And it dawned upon me that in 2020, the radical, disruptive change we need is love. And so I adapted Gandhiji's sentence by saying, "Be the love you want to see in the world." The Be the Love meditations open up a path of reconciliation based on our fundamental loving kindness beyond the divisions maintained by old hatreds and outdated ideologies. In this sense, I would like the Beadle of Meditations to become a 21st century yoga of the earth, as advocated by Sri Aurobindo, to promote an evolution of the human species by incorporating universal love in our DNA. This, I feel, resonates with the United Consciousness Initiative, for the Beadle Love meditations give access to an experience of both oneness and happiness. When we realize that we are not a single human being among 7.8 billion others, we are 7.8 billion human beings within a single person. As Krishnamurti used to say, by essence, love is non-divisive, because love makes us deeply aware of our interconnectedness, of our common humanness, heir to all wisdoms, proud of our ancestral traditions, and caring for the living. In order to navigate through the dire challenges of our times, we need to draw on the inner arts and sciences of the past, combined with the findings of modern science and the regenerative power of love. It's my life commitment to contribute to the rise of a whole new conscious humanity on a whole new conscious earth. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Sophia ji. It was heart-touching, heartwarming, and so beautifully she said about universal responsibility. Awareness that comes out of meditation brings eco-civilization and a cosmic united consciousness. She rightly said, and she coined a beautiful word, medit action. That not only we need to do meditation, we need to bring it into action also. And the three pillars she rightly identified. First pillar is me, so that I can be aware of my true nature, and my true nature is love, loving kindness. And then uh, uh, through meditation, removing all the conditioning so that I can realize my true nature and put it into action. And I loved the way she said that we are not one in 7.8 billion people, we are 7.8 billion people in one person. So, rightly, as it is said, that Raman Maharshi once said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are an ocean in the drop. So kind of you, Sophia ji, and many questions are waiting for you, which we will take in panel discussion. So please hold on and please be with us for some more time. After next speech, we are going to have panel discussion. There we have many questions waiting for you. Thank you very much, Sophia ji.